If you want to succeed in your first team meeting as a new manager or team lead, you need to leverage your team's expertise, not give orders based on your own. After nearly 20 years coaching managers and now coaching Fortune 500 senior leaders, I've seen that the managers who try hardest to showcase their expertise struggle the longest to earn their team's respect. I coached a brilliant engineer at a manufacturing company who bombed her first team meeting because she thought leadership meant having all the answers. And she was terrified. She froze up and almost quit in her first month. But when I taught her that the first meetings aren't about providing expertise, rather, they're about decoding team dynamics, like identifying who the real influencers are before you even speak, everything changed for her. She went from paralyzed to confidently leading a team that actually wanted to follow her. So in this video, I'll show you the 5 strategic moves for your first team meeting that will position you as a leader your team respects from day one. All right, first of all, don't try to be the expert, okay? Your job has changed. The day you became a manager, you're no longer paid to do the work. You're paid to get work done through others. So first-time managers think they need to prove that they know everything. This backfires immediately because you don't. Let's face it. Your team already knows you are good at your job. That's why you got promoted, and that's why you're there. What they don't know yet is, can you lead? Can you support them? Do you know how? Can you remove obstacles? Can you provide air cover? I mean, that last one is really one of the most important. So I've had technical experts who struggle, and they struggle really the most in leadership transition when they go into command and control mode. And this is doing things my way. Like, now that I'm in charge, we're going to do it my way because I know best. So the shift from being the go-to problem solver to teaching others how to solve problems is like mission number 1. So in your first meeting, position yourself as someone who leverages their expertise, not overshadows it. Tip number 2 is to decode the room before you design anything. Apply stakeholder mapping to your own team in that first meeting. I want you to observe. I want you to just see who speaks first, who others look to when you ask questions, whose opinion seems to carry weight. I mean, all of those clues are really important. These are your informal leaders, and they have influence whether you acknowledge it or not. So you don't need to call them out publicly or acknowledge that in any way, but you have to keep it in the back of your head because it's really important. You need to know who they are. And this matters because if the informal leader doesn't buy what you're selling, neither will the team. So anyway, this is Fortune 500 thinking. And I say that because it's more like systems thinking, and it's a little bit more sophisticated than maybe what happens in smaller companies. And if you apply this to your first meeting and you start decoding the dynamics before taking any kind of action, you'll be way better off. I mean, think of the system that they're operating in as well. And that is other teams, stakeholders, departments who impact the dynamic. So consider all of that. Don't walk in with a plan. Walk in ready to gather intelligence. Your first meeting is a discovery session, not a presentation. You're not the new sheriff in town, okay? So before I continue with the next 3 moves, if you're stepping into your first management role and you want my help creating a strategic plan for your first 90 days, including how to navigate that first team meeting, I'm offering free strategy calls this week. Click the first link in the description to book yours. But that's it. Let's get back to the video. Design clear communication boundaries from day 1. So this is another big mistake I see new managers make, saying my door is always open. And that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Don't do it. This is like opening the barn door. This is what happens. Your team will either interrupt you constantly or never come to you at all because they don't know when they're interrupting you. So instead, be specific about 4 things. When should they figure it out themselves? You know, they have other resources, there are common documents, they have peers, right? So these things they can figure out themselves. But Something that's stakeholder facing, they might need your experience and your expertise because that's high impact, right? You're going to want to know about that. Number two, how do you prefer to communicate and when, right? Is it email? Is it Slack? Is it face to face for more complex issues? I have a client right now who is constantly getting text messages, and I mean day and night, because this person wants to keep in touch, right? He thinks he's managing up, right? But this is not the thing he wants. And now he's going to have to give this as critical feedback. So you're better off setting things up and setting these boundaries from day one. Another thing, what decisions can they make without you, right? Be explicit with them. Right? I have a client right now. I'm going to tell you his level because I want you to know this is not a rookie mistake. He's VP reporting to an SVP, and he had to get specific with what the dollar amount of the deals were that he could decide himself, because he was constantly checking in with his boss. And his boss was like, man, you got to take some ownership here. And so we got very specific with what does that actually look like? What absolutely required his approval? So think about that for yourself. So think of this as not being rigid. This is setting up your team for success. And if you do it in advance, if you set these boundaries now, it'll be much easier than later when, again, it becomes critical feedback, right? So frame this up as partnership. Here's how we're going to work together most effectively. Just lay it out for them. All right, number 4, deploy strategic one-on-ones. So announce in your first meeting, I'll be scheduling one-on-ones with each of you over the next few weeks. Frame these as discovery sessions. These are not performance reviews. This is not a dog and pony show. What you're gathering in these meetings is specifically what's working well that I should leave alone. What's one thing that really needs to change in your opinion? And how do you prefer to be managed? I mean, I know a lot of coaches like to ask that, and I think it's a little bit vague. So what areas do you feel confident enough that you'd like autonomy? What areas would you like my support, or would you like to upskill? And then finally, what are your career goals? This is a really good thing to know so you know how to align them with opportunities. What obstacles are in your way so I can help remove those? So what you're doing here is you're creating relationship equity. You're building trust individually with them before making any team-wide changes. Now, remember, your team is not a one-size-fits-all. Notes, too. Like, don't forget that, because you will forget that. You're going to think that you're going to remember, but you're not. Trust me. This information is absolute gold for understanding how to manage and motivate them later. You know, what to delegate and what do you hold them accountable for. These conversations will tell you where your quick wins are, too. Then don't leave it up to them. Right? Schedule the meetings yourself. Tip number 5, don't make any immediate changes. Now, I know you're going to have the feeling of urgency, even anxiety, to make your mark and to do it immediately, right? It's a very strong urge, but you have to resist it. The first 30 days at a minimum, just observe them and learn, right? If you're at a more senior level, 90 days. The reason why is because you have zero relationship equity at this point. If you try to make changes now, you're going to encounter resistance no matter what. You don't know what's broken or why things are the way they are. Your team's probably been through a number of changes already. They're watching to see if you're another leader who disrupts for an ego rush. Hopefully that's not you. So share this in your first meeting. Like, say something like, I'm not here to change everything on day one. I'm here to learn from you, to understand what's working, and then we'll figure it out together, figure out what needs to improve. So this builds trust faster than any grand vision speech. Now, there is an exception to this. If something is really, truly broken and it's urgent, address it. But explain why. Explain why you're doing that now. So in summary, patience beats a fast change that backfires. That looks like thrashing. That is not a good look. Trust me. So there you have it. The 5 strategic moves for your first team meeting as a new manager that will position you as a leader for your team and somebody that they actually want to follow. Now you have two options. You can take everything I've shown you in this video and try to figure out how to apply it to your specific first meeting yourself. Or you can click the first link in the description, book a free strategy call with me, and we'll create a personalized plan for your first 90 days as a new manager, including exactly what to say in that first team meeting and how to avoid the mistakes that keep most new managers stuck. Click the first link in the description to book your free strategy call. Let's make sure your first team meeting sets you up for long-term success, not just survival.